What is going on, guys? This is Tony from Team Divine Pro here. Sorry that I haven't made a video in a while, but things have been busy. So today this video is going to be talking about, like I promised, how to beat Link Joker. Now, for the English meta, guys, this might not have a lot of relevance since it's probably coming out next year. But for those in Japan and all that, this is helpful information. So Link Joker, it's pretty easy to beat, actually, after analyzing it a lot. You can you don't really have to worry about the deck a lot because the deck doesn't do a lot until grade 3. Like, there is, like, Mobius and, like, some other guy that can counterblast and block, but they don't do, like, crazy amounts of stuff. So, like, since it's Nebula Lord and a Star Vader guy and all that, the best way to counteract things like that are decks like perhaps Spectral Duke, and well, I don't have it with me, but Raging Form Dragon, so we can just say that this is Raging Form Dragon. And then there's a lot of other ones. Any like deck that has self-standing Vanguards is pretty good. Now, some of you might be saying, okay, then of course the End is probably good. But in fact, it's the End plus Dauntless Drive Dragon. Dauntless Drive is what actually makes the deck work. So, what you might be asking, what am I talking about here? Well, at grade 3, usually by then, your opponent can actually start locking things. But say if you had these 3 spots empty because of perhaps Spectral Duke's effect or Raging Forms, then they can only lock up to 2 here. And if I'm right, the Nebula Lord guy or the Break Ride, he can't lock anything other than 2 because it can't go up to 2. It has to be 3, sorry. So you get rid of the Break Ride, and then they can only go 1 at a time, because the really only big threat, apart from like maybe the Unicorn, which can only do 1, is the Nebula Lord, but he can only get the back row. So the entire front row can keep on attacking. So that puts things like Spike Brothers really good, which is why they're actually doing quite well right now, because, even though you lock these, you can still have 2 attacks, and then you can go again because of a Persona Blast from Deadly Emperor. So, like, things like Spike Brothers, heck, like even Tachikaze, just because it can get rid of things and then you can put it back in your hand, is very good in the Link Joker matchup. But apart from that, like anybody that's like rogue, like if you're like not using any of these like self-standing decks or like decks you can get rid of things like that, I would suggest playing kind of non-aggressively until... Actually, no. I would suggest playing aggressively between grades 1 and 2, but not overextending as to putting a full field on, because even you might have, per se, like let's just go like this. This isn't going to be like optimal field, but like let's just say you have something like that with one of these. Now, your opponent, if he Break Rides, and if he does, he has the possibility of locking these 3. So you'd be locked, and then locked. But then you still have this full column to attack and your Vanguard. So then you can put all the effects on this one. So that still gives you an opportunity. Whereas if you had put your entire field out, instead of locking that, they could have locked this one. So then you can only attack with once, which gives them better defense. But this way, they have to at least deal with that column as well. So I would personally say to play aggressively, but kind of not aggressively like as you would play with Spike Brothers, which is why Field Driller at some point when you get Link Joker comes out, I would suggest removing it, because that forces you to play aggro, and that's what it's all about, the deck, but you just cannot do that with a deck like Link Joker, because they will just thrive off of you going aggro. But really, guys, it's the grade 3s that are the most deadliest, and Link Joker isn't as like Nebula Lords. That's the only issue. But if you were playing against Schwarzschild Dragon, or whatever it's called, the Way Schwartz Dragon, then maybe you'd have something to fear about. And then I would suggest holding on to cards in hand and maybe just playing like 2 columns at most until the Break Ride is done. I mean, the Cross Ride is done, or the Ride Chain is done, because they can lock like 3 and like 2s and all that. So I'd strongly suggest in that matchup to perhaps just play defensively at first, and then once they've done everything and the locks come back, then just start pushing really hard, because then other things, it's a lot harder for them to protect themselves because they've spent so much on just getting that ride chain off. And apart from that, well, Matt did have the idea that I don't have a card on me right hand, but let's just say that this is it's a good idea, but let me see. I'll go get it. 1 second. Let me just go get something. For cards like such as this one. So I don't know if you guys know its effect, but camera, let it focus a little bit. Will it focus? Will it focus? Nope. Okay, so it will not focus. But its effect is when an attack hits a Vanguard during the battle that this unit boosted something, you may return this unit to your hand. So cards like these could see an up in play just because of the fact that you remove things from the rear guards, which is what Link Joker thrives upon to get more advantage. So by attacking like this, you still get your booster, but then if it hits, you send it back to your hand, and if it doesn't hit, then you've at least wasted guard out of your opponent's hand, which is really difficult sometimes against Link Joker when they're at grade 3 because they start locking things. But apart from that, Link Joker isn't too much of a threat. Oh yeah, Pale Moon. Pale Moon's a good deck too because you can hide things that you really want to keep by just putting them into the soul or anything like that, because they can just switch and then just come out and come out and come out. And then when you need to, boom, they're all out. They're on the field. So it's pretty good. But yeah, definitely things like these cards, like Almighty Reporter. What's this guy for Grand Blue? John the Ghosty. I know that there's like an Owl for Gold Paladin. These type of cards would be pretty good against Link Joker. Based upon what me and Matt thought about it, because the deck does seem, because you can't hit, like nowadays, like in Japan, there's always 11k Vanguard. So this is 6, then you just need like a 10 to hit a magic number, but you can always just at least hit it with the 6k booster. So that's pretty good. Anyways, guys, I hope this kind of helped you with the Link Joker matchup, and please stay tuned for more Way Schwartz content and Cardfight Vanguard content. I think the next thing will be a Way Schwartz improving your game, because I haven't done those in a while, and I think I should be. And then at some point, I will do another deck profile on something, because I feel like it. But anyways, rate, subscribe, like this video if you want to. I'm not asking you to, just do it if you want to. And anyways, this has been Tony from Team Divine Pro, signing off.